Cailey Thalman here alongside Brian Tripp down on the field in Yankee Stadium after a 22-10 win for Penn State over Clemson. To Penn State, that crowd was a scare tactic. To Oregon Stan Lanning, it was, quote, a blank canvas to go paint our effing masterpiece. And paint they did. That's not to say there haven't been that many close games throughout the tournament, because we've been treated to some beautiful basketball games. But Michigan, for example, they've won every single game on their way to the Final Four by 13-plus points. Illinois' closest game was against Houston. They won by 10. Also, one note on Gavin McKenna, who scored that second goal. We've talked a little bit about how maybe things haven't been going his way on the goal-scoring front to start this season. He now has 2 goals in back-to-back games, and we actually asked him about that in media yesterday. He said he's not disappointed with the opportunities he's gotten. He's kind of had consistently slower starts to his hockey seasons, so he was just happy he was getting that many opportunities, and now here in back-to-back games, those opportunities have turned into goals. And finally, you mentioned the crowd at the beginning here. You've said we've got to sweat with you. All the students have got to sweat with you. How do we do today?
Well, it's about making memories. How'd you guys do today? You're freaking awesome.
After a disappointing season for Penn State football, things will look much different for the Nittany Lions next year. There's a new face launching a new era. Gavin, your first goal here in Pagola Ice Arena. Are you ever going to forget that one? Now Matt Campbell comes to this Penn State job after a very successful tenure at Iowa State as the winningest coach in program history there, winning Big 12 Coach of the Year 3 separate times. On the Patriots side, you have Drake May, potentially the youngest quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl. Nick, with 43 touchdowns, you just tied Saquon Barkley for the all-time Penn State rushing touchdown record. How much work over the past 4 years has gone into that number? I think there's an element of mental toughness that defensive players have that's different to offensive players.
Yeah, you said it, not me. Yeah, you said it, not me. Yeah.
The Arkansas Razorbacks are going to Omaha for the College World Series after sweeping Tennessee in the Super Regionals. It's no secret that there's uncertainty going on behind the walls of the Lasch building right now, but what is certain is that Penn State has a football game to play at Iowa this weekend at night. Now, head coach Terry Smith has a message for those watching at home. Such a big day for you guys to finish your season in this way. The confetti falling down, the trophy ceremony. What are you going to remember about the last week in New York City? Penn State is no stranger to the top of the Big Ten standings. If anything, they have a bit of a reputation to uphold as the most dominant team in Big Ten history. It seems like your game has gotten so much better since you scored that first goal against Ohio State. What about the team's play has allowed you to do that? In case you missed it, head coach Guy Gadowski named Ben Schoen and Reese Laubach additional alternate captains, joining defenseman Jared Crespo and captain Dane Doyak. Guy Gadowski and 5 Penn State players headed to Davos, Switzerland to play in the Spangler Cup. Those 5 players are making history as members of the first group of U.S. college players to compete in the tournament. They have a 125-4 overall record, winning 17 straight matches and 51 of 52 sets in that time period. ESPN's Pete Thamel is reporting quarterback Drew Aller underwent successful surgery this week for a broken ankle suffered in Saturday's game, and that he's on track for a full recovery. Penn State Athletic Director Pat Kraft was emotional as he talked about Aller on Monday. Coach, obviously a much younger team for you this year. How do you see that as first a challenge and then second an opportunity? Game 2 of the series is tonight. Last night, the Nittany Lions came back in the third period, scoring 2 goals in 2 minutes. The final score was 3-2 Penn State. And I think these two teams match up really, really well. Both a little bit inconsistent in the quarterback position. This game is going to come down to the line of scrimmage and who wins that line of scrimmage battle, especially because of the strength of Oregon's O-line. And you personally have been better in the past 10 games compared to the start of this season in almost every aspect of the game. What's been working so well for you recently? Yeah, I mean, one of the first things he said when he got on the phone with Pat Kraft was, Terry Smith, I think he's got to stay. And I'm going to agree with you. I think everyone from Penn State agrees Terry Smith has got to stay. That has not deterred the crowd here at Panzer Stadium, who should be in for a treat of a game if this game goes anything like the last 2 matchups have gone. You talk about the locker room. Your coach actually also said, referring to you, that you had the power to bring any group of people together. You were going to show up with a smile on your face no matter what. but it meant even more because that was his first touches of the football in almost a year after he broke both of his legs in the Kent State game back the prior season. Now in that game, there was an iconic play. He hurdled a Nevada defender wearing the number 26, looking a whole lot like Penn State legend Saquon Barkley, hurdling many defenders, both at Penn State and in the NFL.
You saw a lot more plays going down the middle of the field of about 25-yard completions that got them down the field that I don't think has been called at all. And Terry Smith actually in media afterwards said, he got asked, okay, where did that vertical passing game come from? He goes, well, we started calling vertical plays. You wonder, all right, where has that been so far this season?
Now, head coach Guy Gadowski came into post-game media very visibly upset. He said actually that he wasn't going to speak to the team after the game because it would be an emotional reaction. He actually wanted to sit down and look at the game before he said anything, leaving that post-game locker room speech to the players themselves.
So far, Matt Campbell has brought 3 of his former staff members from Iowa State to State College. The Pinstripe Bowl kicks off at noon on December 27th, and you can listen live on Penn State's Com Radio with our broadcast team at Yankee Stadium.
For Camden Kojual, playing on the biggest stage in college baseball almost seems like destiny, given he started his baseball career as a little kid growing up here in Omaha, Nebraska.
He was hitting lasers at age 2, he was.
Taking his first steps during the College World Series sounds like destiny.
That's right, it is.
That's kind of funny, you're right.
And I think the thing that stuck out to me from the press conference the most was the way he started it. He started it emotional, and I think that just shows how much he cares about this job. And it took a lot for him to make this step with his family. He said he was never going to leave Iowa State unless it was the absolute right opportunity. And this pink jersey that you're wearing today, it transcends softball, the cause that you're playing for in breast cancer awareness. Head coach Katie Schumacher-Cailey over at volleyball has been battling breast cancer. How does she and how does the volleyball team inspire you guys? I mentioned you were legends. Do you realize how much of an impact you had on this Penn State community? Now that the Frozen Four banner hangs up safely in the rafters, Penn State can officially close the book on last season and write this season's story. Now that all starts with NHL top prospect Gavin McKenna, and the fans here sure are ready to say welcome home to Hockey Valley. A number of draft picks. You said there are a lot of guys here who are going to be in the show one day. What do you think about their game sticks out to you that will make them successful in the NHL one day? Matt Campbell will have to wait one more game before he puts on the headset, and that's because head coach Terry Smith will coach the Nittany Lions one more time in the Pinstripe Bowl. Penn State will trade a football field for a baseball diamond when they head up to Yankee Stadium. Penn State spent a lot of time this week talking about that Michigan State game, which is unusual for them. Usually they said after the first day or so, by Monday, they're looking ahead to Michigan. But because there were so many structural issues with the way they played against Michigan State, they wanted to take some more time this week looking at those issues and seeing how they can be implemented into today's series.
And just much as part of this win as everybody else.
Little Gatorade bath for Aaron over here. Thanks so much for your time and congrats.
Thank you.